call this special meeting of the Southwest Licking School Board to order. It is November the 6th at 5:32 p.m. Read the meeting notice. Get it to open. Let's see here. Apologize if I get the meeting notice open. No, not at all.
It's on there, there's no attachment.
I can get it from my email.
Yeah, that's what's
Oh, I could do that too.
You have yours up?
Yeah, hold on. I apologize. We'll get that.
Here it is, if she wants to read it.
Thank you. Thank you so
Apologize
much.
for that.
No, that's right. Notice is hereby given that the special meeting of the Southwest Licking Local Board of Education, Licking County, Ohio, on Wednesday, November 6, 2019, 5:30 p.m. in the Southwest Licking Board Meeting Room, 927B South Street, Pataskala, Ohio, for the purpose of discussion action regarding the selection of an organization to conduct the superintendent's search. Right. We recognize all of our visitors here and online. If you will please stand with me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. Jones, will you call the roll, please?
Mrs. Moore.
Here.
Mrs. Spindler.
Here?
Mr. Vincent.
Here.
Mr. Zani. Mrs. Engel.
Here, we have a quorum. We can continue. We have an adoption of agenda. We need a motion for that, please.
So moved. Second?
Mr. Jones?
Mrs. Moore.
Yes.
Mrs. Spindler.
Yes.
Mr. Vincent.
Yes.
Mrs. Engel.
Yes. Passes. All right. Request to speak on agenda items, Teamsters Local 413 and Southwest Licking Education Association. All right, we just have the one business item. We have a selection of an organization to consult on our superintendent search. Anybody have comments on, again with comments on those, or?
I'll just say from my search, I was able to get information from Finding Leaders. I was able to, or from people who have used Finding Leaders. I was able to get information from K-12 Business Consulting. However, I was not for the OSBA. The numbers that I called didn't work. I will, however, say it's not on your sheet, but the lady I talked to from Bellbrook Sugar Creek Schools, she also sits on the board of the Greene County Career Center, and they used OSBA, and she was pleased with them as well. But Bellbrook Sugar Creek Schools used the K-12, and she was fine with both of them. So
that's pretty much how mine went. I got K-12 and Finding Leaders. Was not able to get OSBA, but of course we used OSBA to get Bob. So we have some experience with that.
I can ditto those sentiments too. I didn't have anyone, and I tried a couple different districts with OSBA, and wasn't able to get a hold of anyone due to disconnected lines or whatnot. I've called two districts, one for each, Finding Leaders and K-12, and both had pretty positive things to say, and the details are in the paper, but if you haven't looked at it, they are still utilizing their supers or treasurers that were hired through that firm, and they all had very positive things. If you looked at the challenging portion, I think the challenge with the district with Finding Leaders was their community members didn't feel listened to, and the challenge with K-12 is they felt maybe their pool of candidates at the time was not, I'm sorry, that's the wrong one. That was also Finding Leaders. Finding Leaders was that? Anyway, you can see on there, but, they both seemed incredibly happy with their choices and would use them again. And both of them also have used them multiple times, so.
My two districts did the same thing. Superintendent's still there. They also used Finding Leaders in K-12 for treasurer searches and said that they would definitely use them again. The only difference when it came to K-12, the one person that I spoke to who was in London City Schools, said that K-12 didn't, they expected more on the salary part. They expected that K-12 would be able to give them guidance. They just had a new treasurer, so the treasurer wasn't able to provide that information. So they were kind of struggling a little bit, but basically said, we didn't know, based on your experience, do you give them this much money and, the pickup on the pickup? And he said, they really didn't provide us with that information. We had to do the legwork ourselves.
Okay.
That's why we got Rick.
Yeah.
And I kind of the opposite on that maybe, because I talked to Gahanna and Pickerington. Gahanna with Finding Leaders and Pickerington for K-12, and they were both extremely pleased and with both firms, and both Pickerington had used K-12 like multiple times through different searches, different superintendents, different treasurers. The current superintendent is the one that they used most recently, and they said that they use them on lots of different things, that they are very data driven, so they use them on even like salary studies for admins and things like that, even through non-search times.
And this was for K-12.
For K-12. And then with Finding Leaders, they were I guess the big thing with them was that they just felt like they had an incredible find from Finding Leaders. They already had, a contract, plus had just given him a 5-year extension. So it was somebody that they were
Please.
really pleased with the find. So I think it looks like any way we go is going to be an okay way to go, actually.
I mean, I would say with lack of information, we should probably exclude OSBA at this point. At least that's just, where I am.
I would feel the same way, the only fact would be, for me, is Deb and Roger were the only ones, on the current board that were here when Bob was hired. So I have no experience to go on, but I otherwise would entertain continuing to look at them, but I'm happy to entertain just putting them off the table, because I think these other two firms will be just as fine.
Fine either way. Here we go.
So,
Just need a motion.
all right. Well, I'll be honest, my favorite is still the K-12 from my conversations. I'll just throw that out there. Do you guys have a favorite?
How about dollar values again? Can we look at that?
Exact same dollar amounts.
Were they the exact same?
Unless we go to the gold
Oh,
package
yeah,
or
right.
something.
No.
I don't think we want to.
One way it was cheaper with Finding Leaders if ESC led
Right,
the
yeah,
search.
no.
So,
And I don't know if there was a way to guarantee it, but with the K-12, I believe the Granville prior superintendent works for them now. And she kind of knows Licking County, so I don't know if we could.
she was the one that was here,
Well, I don't think she was. No, she was.
She wasn't here?
There was some sort of family.
She was the one that they said she just lived too far to get here for this.
Oh, wait, she lived too far to get here? The Granville one?
All I know is when
That
they
was weird.
introduced their team, they introduced all the people here plus one additional female.
Yeah, I thought they
And they said she just lived a little too far to get.
That was she lived in Northwest Ohio.
Okay. I was thinking the one lady here was the one from Granville.
Now, would disagree with John then.
Yeah, I don't know, the lady
Chris
over
Moore,
here.
Deb Campbell, Tom Ash, and there was a Carol Oxley, and I had written down that it was too far to drive.
I think this Catherine Lowry was the Granville one.
And she was the one that was here.
She was not
She
here.
was not here.
This lady that was here was
Yes, I wrote that down.
Springfield, I believe.
Okay.
So,
Additionally, one of the districts I talked to, the Springfield district, they utilized the Chris Moore, who was the main speaker for that firm, and someone named Debbie Finkus, but they believe she may have been remarried. It's probably this Deb Campbell that was here. But anyway,
Is our,
I really liked the main person.
that's what I was
I
gonna
did
say.
too.
Is, do we want to, use them if we can get Chris Moore to do the work? Is that, I mean, is that something, do we want to say that
That could be your motion, that
It-
basically you're gonna go with, if you sign up K-12.
if he is if he is available to do the consulting,
Or
basically,
he's
or,
the lead,
He's a lead of the
right?
search or something.
yeah.
And the thing I really liked about Chris Moore, again, with the person I talked to today, he actually was a district treasurer for 4 to 5 years prior to, going out with this business. So, I like the idea that he, at a similar sized district. So I like that too. I didn't know that from the get-go, but anyway.
So I'm assuming he would still consult with his
Oh, yeah.
group, but
He's not a treasurer anymore, he just.
Right.
I think it was
Yeah.
at Dublin.
he would be the lead.
They said Springfield.
No, he's from New Albany now.
Oh.
He was the one
But
that lived in New
I
Albany
think he was treasurer for Dublin.
for Dublin.
I think it was one of those big schools like that.
Yeah.
I knew him when he
Well, then
was
I
treasurer.
gotcha.
misunderstood what they told me today.
He might have been there too, but I was in Dublin for, because he was my professional organization president for a while.
Gotcha.
A few years back too, so.
Okay.
And I believe Mr. Zine said he was okay with the K-12
Yes.
as well. So I'll just throw it out there and we'll see what happens. I make a motion that we go with K-12 business consulting for our superintendent search. With preference, maybe not the terminology with preference, but I'll just say with preference of Mr. Moore being our lead.
You want to add in there silver package?
Yes.
Yes.
And that we go in silver package. Ms. Perkins?
I think that
We
sounds
need
good.
need a second.
Second.
Okay. Any more discussion?
No, I should. Do you have any?
No, I think it sounds good. I think they're all good. Good.
And do we need to have them back at the November board
Well,
meeting then?
I'll reach out to them tomorrow and
Okay.
see how soon they want to start.
Okay.
So hopefully, with their timeline was aggressive, we might need to work on that part of it.
Okay.
But I assume I'll talk to them how fast they want to get together, and if we have to have a special board meeting,
You'll,
maybe that could be a topic too.
okay,
Should
perfect.
we have if he says no, he doesn't want to be the lead?
Oh,
I think he's the owner of the company. I think he'd have
Okay.
a hard time him saying
We'll
no.
cross that bridge. if we get there.
I would think he'd have a hard time,
Okay.
Yeah.
okay.
but yeah, I think cross that bridge if not.
Okay. All right. Call the roll, please, Mr. Jones.
Mr. Vincent,
Yes.
Mrs. Moore,
Yes.
Mrs. Spindler,
Yes.
Mrs. Engel.
Yes. That motion passes. We have item number 4, closing. We need a motion for adjournment, please.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Jones?
Mr. Vincent,
Yes.
Mrs. Spindler,
Yes.
Mrs. Moore,
Yes.
Mrs. Engel.
Yes. Passes. We are adjourned at 5:46 p.m.
That was the quickest $80 I've ever earned.